Yes, trade season's upon us as we're in the final days of the trade deadline. PJ Tucker is finally traded. He's been away from the team all season. And Mo Bamba in this deal to Utah, who will replace Drew Eubanks' production with Mo Bamba. And Mo Bamba could be a reclamation project as a guy who still has untapped potential in a way, but he never really fulfilled it. Patty Mills gives a sure-handed shooter off the bench for the Clippers, and Drew Eubanks gives them another rebounder, an efficient interior scorer to give them some size whenever Zubac sits. So let's get into this deal. We'll mainly talk about how this helps out the Clippers, and then we'll talk probably Mo Bamba because PJ Tucker will be bought out. Hit that like and subscribe button, and let's get right into today's video. I actually like this trade. I think this is a opportunity first. Like with this trade, the Clippers, the Jazz, as reported by Charania, are both putting themselves in a favorable situation. Real quickly, I want to point out what Bobby Marks said. Bobby Marks put out saying that the trade not only brings the Clippers below the luxury tax, but gives them an optionality at the deadline and the buyout market. The Clippers are now $4 million below the tax and have enough flexibility below the first apron, which means they can sign guys out of the buyout who are more than the non-taxpayer mid-level exception. PJ Tucker, Mo Bamba, and Patty Mills are all expiring contracts, and Drew Eubanks has a non-guaranteed contract for next year. Additionally, it created a trade exception of $6.5 million and a $2.1 million trade exception that is available to use for the Clippers, which again, great cap gymnastics by Los Angeles. And why did they need this? I think this reflects the two different goals of the franchises. Clippers are obviously looking to bolster their roster while maintaining cap flexibilities to make a playoff push as Kawhi Leonard hopefully rounds into form, while the Jazz are looking to acquire assets and develop, younger talent. And I think Mo Bamba is a reclamation project. The Clippers are in win now mode, even though Paul George is gone and Kawhi Leonard is not as available as he once was. James Harden and the rest of the group with Chris Dunn has led this unit. Drew Eubanks is a serviceable big man who will provide energy, rebounding, and efficient play. His career stats have shown that he's a consistent performer, 60% field goal percentage, about 5 rebounds a game as a backup option. And when he started, he's been like a 10-10 guy. And a team that has struggled in terms of their front court depth behind Zubac, I think Drew Eubanks offers them a solid, reliable option to eat minutes and provide continuous physicality whenever Zubac sits, as he's not a star, but he's a role player who really fit as a rotational guy. And I really like how he'll, solidify those minutes when Zubac sits. Patty Mills, championship pedigree, veteran leadership. Funny thing is, both guys come from the Spurs, and that's why Will Hardy brought them. And I think Patty Mills' his wealth of experience and capable shooting, 38%, and he's still solid this year, which the Clippers, who ranked 26th, fourth worst three-point shooting team in the league in terms of their three-point attempts per game, can benefit from Patty Mills' ability just to shoot on volume, even in low minutes, and still hit those not open shots. And if they go on a deep playoff run, his experience is obviously going to be huge for this team, as I think Patty Mills would allow them to have a guy that if anybody got hurt or if they need a reliable a high pressure performer, I think Patty Mills is still capable of doing so. So before we continue, do you guys agree with me? I think he just solidifies their backcourt. I know there's still Bones Highland, but it makes sense for them to have done this deal as it opens up a lot for them. Now let's talk real quickly about what it looks for the, I guess you would say, Jazz, even though they're probably only going to keep Mo Bamba. I would not think PJ Tucker stays. I think the biggest thing is when you look at this trade real quickly before we talk about the Jazz, is Drew Eubanks was averaging 15 minutes a night, 5.8 points, 60% from the field, 4.5 rebounds, an assist a game, while Patty was averaging also 15 minutes a night, shooting, yes, 29% and 34 from the field, but really going to be able to just come in and do what they need. I think Mo Bamba still can hit the three. He's only playing 12 minutes a night, but he's going to play the same minutes that he did with Clippers, maybe a little bit more, as I think obviously PJ Tucker hasn't played this season and is likely heading towards a buyout, as we mentioned earlier. my opinion, PJ Tucker, even if they kept him and they just told him, hey, come by, at 38-year-old, he's expendable, but maybe they want him to keep him around. I think they're just going to buy him out. But Mo Bamba, on the other hand, has flash potentials, had seasons where he was like a double-double guy, but he was a lottery pick. He still has unfulfilled potential as a rim protector, floor spacing 3-and-D big. I think what you get, Utah just is in the rebuilding phase, and they're stockpiling assets. And if they can't get assets, they're allowing them to have cap flexibility and roster spots to develop their younger players. And Mo Bamba as a reclamation project, I think, is intriguing for the Jazz. Once a highly touted prospect who really never was able to establish himself as a consistent NBA player. I think with his physical tools, 7 foot with a 7'10" wingspan, can knock down the 3-point shot. And that's just an appealing low risk, high reward, as the Jazz, who aren't going to be competing for a championship anytime soon, could afford to give Bamba minutes this season. If he develops or gives him good minutes this year, you re-sign him to a multi-year deal. Kind of like how we assume what's going to happen with Cyro Williams in the Nets. You keep him around the rebuild as like the veteran, and then maybe a contending team wants to get him, because if he succeeds, he becomes a trade asset or a long-term piece for the team. And the second round pick in cash obviously just give the team more draft assets. So I think when you look at this, for the Clippers, this was a trade that maximized their current roster's potential, while I think Drew Eubanks and Patty Mills address what they've needed most, front court depth and some shooting, while they maintain cap flexibility moving forward. At this, Clippers are betting that these additions are going to help increase them by the margins, which in turn will allow them to win more. For the Jazz, this is about the future. By acquiring a second round pick and taking a flyer on Bamba, they'll continue to build their foundation. And I think a buyout is going to be imminent for PJ Tucker. So I think this is a classic example of two teams with two different timelines making a deal that benefits both sides. Clippers get an immediate help for a playoff push that costs them nothing, and the Jazz get an asset and take on a player who could be a reclamation project. I think regardless of how this plays out, it was just a well put together trade that both teams are going to benefit from. So what do you guys think? I think, again, a career 35.7% three-point shooter who's averaged over a block a game when given time to play is huge. And yeah, I want to hear your guys' thoughts. Anything else? And that's basically going to be the video for me today. I hope you guys did enjoy. Like, comment, subscribe. If there was anything else you guys would have liked to have heard, let me know. We'll talk about it next time in the video. And yeah, that's it. I'm going to head out. Ciao. That's it. Bye. Everybody, we're waiting to make this to the 8-minute marker. So if you made it here, please hit that subscribe button, because it'd be great. Yes, we made it 8 minutes. So goodbye. Thank you. Arrivederci.